Yo, what is up, y'all boys? Today is Wednesday, September 17th. We have news at 2 p.m. and news at 2:30 p.m. Today has been a long anticipated day as far as the last few weeks go. The federal funds rate, let me show you news. The federal funds rate, FOMC economic projections, FOMC statement, FOMC press conference. So, what does that mean? The Fed is talking today at 2 p.m. and it's said that he's going to do at least I think it's a 0.25, a 0.25 cut. It's either 0.25 or 25 cut. $25 BPS. Let me get it right. A 25 basis points to target a range of 4%. So, what does this mean? A 25 point basis, a 25 point basis cut means that money is going to be borrowed at a lesser price. The rate is dropping and money is going to be borrowed easier. This means more money into the market. This means money's, like I said, is going to be easier the loans are going to be less. You're going to be able to you're going to be able to I've said this shit for the last 3 days and I'm brain farting right now. It's going to be easier to get a loan. Borrowing becomes cheaper for consumers and businesses, which stimulates economic growth and hiring. So, what does this mean? Money's going to be borrowed easier, there's going to be more money spent, and with inflation rising, people are going to be looking to hedge their funds against inflation, meaning they're going to buy things that are going to go up in value as US dollar goes down in value. They're going to buy things like gold or Bitcoin now, and they're going to use that instead of saving money, the US dollar, because the US dollar is going down in value. And the reason it's going down in value is because there's an infinite amount of dollars. There's always money being printed. For example, let's run this case. Congress needs money to give to the mailman and for other things. They go to the Treasury, which is holding the money, and they say, hey, we need some money. We need $1 or $100. Treasury says, hey, We've already given you $100. We've already given you as much as we said we could. Congress says, but I need it. So then they say, damn, well, they go to the Fed. And they say to the Fed, well, we need $100. And the Fed says, sounds good. Pulls out a checkbook and writes $100. Hands it. Where did the money come from? Came from the Fed? No. There was no accountability for that $100. It just came out of nowhere. And why buying gold or Bitcoin is because you're buying a resource that is not as it's higher in demand at this point in time, and it's not a resource that everyone has. It's not an enormous supply, it's lower supply. So for example, Bitcoin, there's only 21 million Bitcoin, and I think they've found like 19 million Bitcoin to this day. So, or they've mined 19 million Bitcoin to this day, and by the time, even if they mine 21 million and all the Bitcoins are mined, Bitcoin then will still be able to have value because it's a finite amount. There will only ever be 21 million, and then from there, trade transactions, price of Bitcoin will rise because the supply is always at a constant and the demand is slowly rising because it's a decentralized system. There is no government running it, and it's very secure and safe. So what banks are doing and other institutions are doing is they're buying Bitcoin because Bitcoin has been growing high in value, and what this means is that if institutions are adopting it, it's really starting to catch traction as it has been for the last however many years. It pushes sentiment, but with all this being said, and even Trump endorsing it entirely, I mean, his technology company is like one of the most amount of Bitcoin in his wallet, as far as like top 10, I think. But if rates are getting cut, money's borrowed at a cheaper, more money in the market, inflation's rising, people want to buy things that they know will increase in price and that they can just save in. So they're going to buy Bitcoin and gold. And the chance of either hitting zero, little to none. So with all this shit being said, let's go on the charts. Let's see what happened. Right now it's 9:42. I've been yapping for a minute. All right. So on the left we have the S&P 500. On the right we have the Nasdaq. Right now I'm waiting to mark out the first 15-minute candle as expected. Okay, so I'll provide a market recap, but any trader, I hope, who has a brain would not get in today. You got rates cut at 2 if you get in. But anyways, no days off, I guess, for market recap. But this is awesome to see. As expected, just moving sideways. But over, oh my gosh, what? Just all-time highs. Yeah, it's just so beautiful. But I guess what we're looking at yesterday, we just moved sideways since yesterday. Or S&P 500 just moved sideways since yesterday. And NQ, oh, yeah. My computer's getting really hot. All right, so NQ, very similar, but that's what you're looking at for today. And until 2 p.m., I would assume we just slide, or you can see just consolidation. Nothing's really happening because make a low, a lower high, a higher low, consolidation, and then price falls, just bouncing in this range. So let me check what other. I'm gonna check what it's looking like, bro. Yo, Palantir and Nvidia are just shading. This is wild. Yo. All right, let me show you. I don't know if it'll update, but yo, coming soon. There's gonna be questions in the chat. I know it. I'll have to answer questions. That'll be fun. Yo, Palantir and Nvidia down 2%. Tesla down 2%. Tesla's been making a rally. It doesn't matter. It's probably some relief, but Bitcoin's down. There's probably some uncertainty, if that's how we could interpret it. Let me see. Sentiment, fear and greed index. I gotta close out of some windows then. Still high greed. I could imagine it would fall to neutral. I honestly wonder what will happen. Will we see, like, will I open up the portfolio and I'm gonna see just Christmas lights? All right. That's really the recap. Let me check news. Just news all around. Okay, so lawmakers debate the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Michael Saylor, a huge a person of a huge person of interest regarding Bitcoin. He's the man leading the charge. So he has a company called The Strategy, which is a Bitcoin vault. They're buying Bitcoin, and they're endorsing it. I believe they're on S&P 500. No, Strategy, also known as no. This, bro, come on. Okay, so Strategies in the Nasdaq. The firm designs, develops, markets, and sells software platforms through licensing arrangements and cloud-based subscriptions and related services. It's a product-based. Its a product packages include Hyper. The company was founded by Michael J. Saylor and Sanjeev Bansal, 1989. But the company has become a Bitcoin vault. They bought so many Bitcoin, or so much Bitcoin, so many Bitcoin, so much Bitcoin. primary function today is a Bitcoin treasury vehicle, with a strategy centered on continually accumulating Bitcoin through debt insurance and equity offerings. So I think what he said, I watched a live stream, what he said, or a video. So he'll get a loan from the bank or get a loan from other people. Mostly, I think in this situation, a loan from the bank at a fixed price. And as Bitcoin sees a growth in price, he's able to pay back the loan and still grow the money. And then he just buys more Bitcoin, gets a bigger loan, buys more Bitcoin, and then in equity offerings, if you were to offer 20% of your company to someone for, say, $100,000, they give you $100,000 for 20% of the company. Then next year, as Bitcoin is rising, your investment's growing, likely your business may be growing too, to pay a loan or something as you're doing this, accumulating more Bitcoin. But a year later, it says, hey, would you like to buy 20%? And they say, yeah, through an equity offering, 20% equity. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And then just does it over and over, accumulating more Bitcoin. And then you get a bigger crowd on it, which is, I think, what's promoted as strategies a once-in-a-lifetime play on digital gold. Despite his often bold claims, critics have had little traction while Bitcoin remains near record highs. Masters up 2% now. No, 0.8%. NVIDIA's China strategy in shambles. Beijing blocks chips amid antitrust probe. China's cyberspace came when the latest blow came when China's Cyberspace Administration ordered tech giants ByteDance and Alibaba Group Holding Alibaba to halt testing and procurement of NVIDIA's chip created specifically for the Chinese market. This isn't about performance, it's about sovereignty, bro. So this is why it comes all full circle. For Nvidia, China is a $7 billion market, too big to lose, but increasingly impossible to navigate. I could imagine with what's going on. Alibaba are rallying behind Beijing's call to build homegrown AI chips. As Nvidia China's exposure falters, rivals could quietly benefit. AMD, for instance, may capture any leftover demand for high performance GPUs. Okay. With all this being said, I feel like tension's high. Sentiments moving sideways. And yeah, that's about that. That's about that. Nothing real crazy on the charts as expected. Show you. Sideways. Let's perfect trader. We gotta hop on that perfect trader. All right. No trades. No trade. No trade. No trade. No trade. These flies are crazy, bro. They just like, I think that they remember who I am, and I don't know how. And I know that's crazy to say. I probably sound crazy, but these flies, they fly over to you, and I swear they look the same every time. And they're harmless. They don't do anything. Just come over and say hi. See, 2 p.m. It's right. Market is sliding sideways. SP 500 sideways. And here consolidation. Sentinel. Anticipation. Okay. Consolidation. Hmm. Last time FOMC at 2, price just slid. It didn't even retrace. So I wanted to add, I'm planning what I plan to do. And what I'm trying to think about is how can I be more of an impact? How can I make more of an impact? How can I be more me? How can I offer more myself to the world to help to, let's just think in terms of impermanence. Like, what kind of impact do I want to leave if I could die tomorrow? Could die today, could die later, could die tomorrow. But how can I be more passionate about what I'm doing? How can I be more me? That's what I'm trying to think about, and how can I make more of an outreach as I could there's things like I could get back posting on TikTok to say I'm going to be live 9:30 Monday through Friday. I say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Market recap. I want to show people that a consumer can be their best investor. I feel that a consumer can be their best investor. Why would you, if you consume something and something like, let's say for example, my phone, I'm on my phone a lot, and if I'm on my phone a lot, why am I on my phone a lot? Like, what about the iPhone is like so enticing, and if I endorse this, if I use it, and if I use an Apple, if I use a Mac, I like these products, and I like how they're made, or I like this is the best that I can get for this industry. Why would I not think, if I'm already buying their product, why would I not try to make money with them? Because I feel like if I like it, so many more people will like it, right? Or so many more people already do like it. So, with that being said, um, for example, if you play Xbox, if you really like playing the game, why would you not buy into Microsoft? Make some money with them. Just in this too, it becomes a game, and it's a game that you don't really understand until you open up the door to it. Because if you keep your door shut, saying, that investing stuff's risky, that I don't really know, it sounds complicated, uh, maybe I just don't understand it. And that's not for me. If by saying that, you then neglect yourself from the opportunity to learn anything really more about it, because you close your identity to the possibility of being anything more in that category. And by doing that, it makes learning anything about stocks, anything about like the smallest thing about it, investing, becomes like when you're putting your foot on the gas and the other foot on the brakes. So I feel like you would be making money right now if you were to invest in Apple. Just for the long term of things, to say, okay, well, I've already bought the last two Apple iPhones, so why would I not just, I'm probably gonna buy the next one. That's how I see it. And it's not like, as long as you are mindful about the risk. But when in reality, how much risk really is there? Like, if you invest even $100, you're only like, it's if you lose, if price goes down 10%, which 10%, if you're not familiar, if Microsoft were to go down 10%, there would have to be something, an outlier situation to be going on. For example, like an existential crisis for Microsoft to be down 10%, or somebody died or something. So, and if you lost 10%, that would be $10. $10. If you invest $100, if you invest $1,000, that'd be $100. But at the same time, Microsoft produces let's just see if you were invested a year ago. $15%. So you'd be up $15 if you invested $800. The lowest you would have been down, $20. Highest you would have been up, $21. But when a trend looks like that, on a trusted company like Microsoft, so I'm just gonna keep thinking over, brainstorming today. I'm gonna write the recap in my journal. Wait until 2 p.m. and then see what happens. So what I was thinking about is how can I make a bigger outreach? It wasn't about the consumer. I was thinking about the investor. Oh yeah, no, so how does that relate to the consumer? Because just a simple stock like Microsoft, you invest $100, $15 back anyways. If you're curious about it, which I am passionate about it, I can bridge that gap. But I'm going to keep thinking over how can I make it a bigger outreach? How can I be more passionate? How can I be more influential? How can I be more me? Catch y'all boys on the next one.